This is the Soul Podcast. Put that on your couple shirt. I'm King Sejong, reminding you that you have not made it in Korean pop culture until you advertise for a chicken restaurant. And here are your hosts, Emma Kalka and Joe McPherson.
And welcome to the Soul Podcast. This is Joe.
And Emma.
Hello, Emma.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Remember, if you enjoy the Soul Podcast, to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, if you're watching us on YouTube, like it. Become a subscriber. You know what I found out? It's like, okay, Michael Hurt, legendary Michael Hurt.
Yes.
Frequent guest on the Soul Podcast. He posted recently that he was involved in the launch of YouTube in Korea.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Yes.
That sounds super cool.
I remember that because I was involved tangentially. I had one of the first YouTube accounts in Korea.
Ooh.
I totally forgot I did. And I have 916 followers to show for it. They're all great. They're all great. I'm trying to hit that magic 1,000. Lots of stuff happens for you once you hit 1,000. So please.
Really? I think I've got
subscribe.
like 30. I have 30 YouTube followers, but I don't really have like content really worth following.
Well, and that's why. It's like I didn't really have much content. Mostly when I first used YouTube, most people didn't know what to do with YouTube. So I was just uploading private videos, just daily life videos. There was nothing really that special. I was trying to edit some of them, but they're mostly videos to show my family overseas what I was doing in Korea. It was very personal.
Yeah, well, and Eat Your Kimchi made a lot of money doing that.
They did okay. Well, they knew what to do. They knew how to handle it. And then there are lots of YouTubers in Korea, and it's not even
got
big
worth
followings. It's fine. I don't need a giant following. I just need 1,000.
Actually, looking at it, my YouTube is mostly just all the concerts that I was going to back in the day. Like no editing, just like short, 1, 2, sometimes 3, 4, 5 minute clips of the concerts that I was going to. Which when I had my underground hip hop blog was great because this was back when underground hip hop was really popular with overseas followers.
Oh, with overseas followers, because if it's really popular, it's not really underground.
Yeah. No, this was like during,
it's like my popular alternative band.
Yeah.
My mainstream alternative band.
Back when people were actually watching and paying attention to Show Me the Money. But yeah, because I was interviewing a lot of these guys for the series that I was doing at Korea Herald at the time. This was like late 2012, all the way through 2013 into like 2014.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to a lot of shows. I was meeting a lot of rappers, both well-known and unknown, and just, all over the spectrum. And so I would just, I would shoot videos and then put them up on my YouTube because I was like, seems like a thing to do.
Yeah, it was added content, multimedia content.
I was getting like maybe like 20, 30 views per video, but I didn't really care. I wasn't trying to get views or followers. I was just
me neither.
Posting stuff. So then it made it easier to cross post it on like my blog or
That's
Facebook,
what mine was stuff. That's what my stuff was for primarily. It was just additions for my blog posts, not purely YouTube stuff. But I'm trying to change it now. I'm just trying to make YouTube a little more of a destination.
Yeah.
And stuff. But anyway, enough about us. I guess.
We could talk about us all day. But we are trying to keep on track, even though like we didn't really make a plan for today.
Yeah, well, no, we got we got plans for today. Well, but first off, I do want to bring up to date about the coronavirus.
Yes.
2.5 has been brought down to 2.0.
Yes, we are on 2.0 for the next 2 weeks.
Like one of those few times you don't want the upgrade. You want it down.
Yes. Yeah. The government has said that they've actually designated Chuseok, like that week of Chuseok, and I think maybe the week after it, because there's another Hangul Day is right after that as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a giant holiday weekend. Yeah.
So they've designated it as like a special quarantine time, but they've yet to actually say what that's going to look like.
What's our plan here?
I'm pretty sure whatever it is, it's basically going to be the government saying, stay the F at home.
Well, and we're already seeing that because they said that not many train tickets are being bought.
Yes. Yeah.
For now.
The train, they've cut down. They've actually, I think they're only selling, 50% of seats? So the only seats that they're selling are the window seats.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So everybody has to sit alone-ish.
Has to be alone.
Yeah, to, social distance and all of that. I don't know what buses are doing. I don't think I've read anything about that. They also are not going to exempt toll fees on the highways like they usually do.
Oh, yes. Usually on holidays. Toll roads.
Since 2017, every major holiday, they've exempted toll fees.
I only learned that last year. Because traveling, I was slowing down at all the toll booths. I'm like, where are they? Where are they? What was going on?
Nope, not this year. This year they're going to make people pay. And they did it because they're thinking, oh, maybe if we put tolls, people will not drive.
That was the breaking point. Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Well, I mean, but lifting all the tolls is sending a different message.
Yeah. So they're just like, we're not going to do it this year. And then whatever money we make from people who do decide to travel, we're going to put that into COVID-19 something or another.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to make up that money we've been spending.
Yeah. So, what the money that we're going to be spending on all the new cases that come out because people traveled during Chuseok, we're going to use that money to pay for it.
It's like composting.
Yeah, pretty much. They're trying to come up with whatever scheme that they can to discourage people from traveling to their hometowns during Chuseok, which I think a lot of younger generations are just like, nope, we're good. All you have to say is don't travel, and you're like, hey, Graham, sorry, government said I can't travel.
Yep.
I wish I could be there. Not really.
Yeah.
Like everything I hear from like my Korean friends and even like my foreign friends who are married in Korean families, like Chuseok is a super stressful time.
It is.
And so they're just like, we are happy. We don't have to go anywhere this year.
Yeah. The only people I think won't be happy will be divorce lawyers.
Yeah. She's like, damn, my fees. I'm not going to.
Less divorces maybe this year, but that one industry that has gone up is grave services, grave maintenance services.
Yes, they've which I was just like, wait, this was not a thing because I'm pretty sure it's a thing in the States.
Yeah, but in Korea, it is a tradition. Like a couple of weeks before Chuseok or Seollal, you go up to the ancestral graves, and you clean it up, you trim it. I ran into my neighbors in the elevator this week, and we had a small conversation about them going out, husband and wife going out to the family grave, and they had the clippers and all the stuff ready.
Oh yeah, see that's Memorial Day in America. That's what everybody does on Memorial Day.
They do.
Every Memorial Day, my dad and his wife, they go out and they put fresh flowers and everything on my mom's grave and my little brother's grave. But in terms of like trimming the grass and everything, that's something that the cemetery takes care of. They have a volunteer board. And so once a week, somebody goes out on a lawnmower and
Forrest Gump goes out and trims the grass. Goes out.
No, and I know this because my entire family has been on the board of the cemetery where my mother and my little brother are buried for like generations. Half the cemetery is filled with Kalkas, so it might as well be our cemetery.
Yeah.
But going back to like the late 1800s, you know, our family, it's So
but the way
half the board's made of Kalkas, but they're very good about going out and keeping the grass trimmed and making sure like the grave sites are at least like trimmed and looking nice. And then on Memorial Day, they also go through and they put flowers or things or flags on all the graves that don't have anything. So if it's just like a really old grave from like 1895 that no one would really go to anyway, they still put something there. Okay. Or even if it's like a newer grave and for some reason the family just can't come or doesn't want to come, they just make sure that for Memorial Day, every grave has flowers or a flag or something on it.
I don't think a riding lawnmower is going to be very useful in a Korean grave because it's a mound.
No, probably not. But I mean, I just assumed that most cemeteries had like hired somebody to come around and make sure like the grass and stuff was cut down. And
it is. I live in the middle of graves. If you listen to our other show, the Dark Side of Soul podcast, we did a whole podcast.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I haven't listened to it yet, but I saw that.
Yeah, and I live in the middle of cemeteries, and so I see how it is. They're maintained. They're maintained. But anyway, so these services where people will maintain the grave for you have been going up.
Right, so that you physically don't have to go there.
Yeah, physically don't have to go there.
Social distance.
Social distancing. I think people just want an excuse not to do it. Because to me, that seems like part of filial piety is to do the grave yourself, not hire someone else to do it. It's like hiring someone else to meet my grandma.
Yeah, I see it. When you put it that way, I see it.
Surrendering the grave is I thought was a form of respect towards your ancestors. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, no, I could see it. Like, I can imagine, if, maybe like for Memorial Day, if the states were like, you can't go to the graveyard. But at the same time, for Memorial Day, it's not like thousands and thousands of people are pouring into cemeteries on that one day.
No.
It's usually like, they're not overflowing with people. It's a lot of people, like the week before people...
They don't really do Jesa itself at the cemetery. They do Jesa in the home.
Right, yeah. And I think that's the big thing because they're trying to keep people, because you have large amounts of people coming into the house together, being in very close proximity, eating, drinking, and particles are flying everywhere. So they're trying to... They're trying to cut down on that in the hopes, because we're still not even completely out of the last cluster.
No.
And now we've got not only Chuseok, so there's Chuseok, and then also on October 3rd, it's Foundation Day. And all these rallies are threatening to go on in downtown Seoul. So the government is just like, oh my God, we got to do something or we're never getting out of this. It's just going to be a continuous cycle of we get cases down and then they just shoot back up and we're stuck in it until somebody finally comes up with a vaccine. And I think the government is like thinking what a lot of us are thinking. We're like, we were doing so good. We were down to like 30, 40 cases a day.
Yeah.
And now it's like we can't get it lower than 100.
But now recoveries are higher than new cases.
Well, that's good. But the death rate has unfortunately also gone up. But I think that's mostly just because of the clusters.
That's a lag. It's a lag that happens.
Yeah, because like before, they would have like 7 deaths over 3 weeks. But then during like the Sarangcheil cluster And the Raleigh cluster, they were getting like 11 deaths in 1 week. But it was just because those clusters were mostly centered around older people. So it was older people getting sick.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of like skewed the rates just a bit. But I mean, I don't know. We also have like 24% of cases over the last 2 weeks have no known source.
Yeah.
Which is not comforting. I mean, it's still 24 is not super high, but it's not super comforting.
True, because it could explode anywhere. But I am feeling better that we are bringing the numbers down.
Finally.
Yeah, it was a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was exactly a month ago.
And we're just starting to get somewhat normal again. Still not completely to where we were, but somewhat normal.
But it's feeling better. We still have to sign our name. We have to put our names and phone numbers when we go in places.
Mm-hmm.
Just today, we were going for lunch, and we had to sign everything. And then my party decided to go eat lunch somewhere else. We had to go somewhere else and sign our name and
sign everything else again.
Yeah, do it all over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's only for like the next 2 weeks that we have this, because when that Chuseok week again, they're like, we in preparation for shit to go down, we're just gonna shut everything down so that shit can't go down. Hopefully.
All right, let's do that. I hope so. And people are saying they're not going to travel. I was reading the news articles. People say they're not even going to travel.
I don't think people want to travel. I really think people don't like traveling. They don't like traveling for Chuseok anyway. Everybody I talk to is just like, oh, it's such a burden.
I mean, they if they were traveling, they'd go overseas. They'd have to travel in country, because traveling overseas, you have to deal with the quarantine coming back, and you don't have that.
But fun fact, well, not fun, but whatever. Apparently a lot of people are going to Jeju for Chuseok. They're expecting about 200,000 people on the island during the Chuseok holiday.
Wow, that might sink.
Something like 80% of air tickets during that time have been booked already. And lodging and car rentals and stuff is shot up. And so, like, the government's like, don't travel. And people are like, okay, I won't go see I won't go see grandma or grandpa, but I'm going to go to Jeju Island. And Jeju Island is like, no, don't come.
No, they're doing it. This is the perfect time to line up every single movie marathon you've ever wanted to do. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Twilight. Do all of them. Yeah, because it's a 5-day holiday, right? Yeah, you can get through it all. It'd be fun.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
Binge watch all these things. I've been binge watching. Man, it's a
5-day holiday, and then the very next weekend is a 3-day weekend, because Hangul Day is a Friday.
Yeah, Hangul Day. Yeah.
Yeah, so Hangul Day is on the 9th. So
I'll turn on the Korean subtitles on that day.
Yeah. So in the midst of your Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, whatever marathon, subtitles.
Yeah. Subtitles.
Yeah, no, really. Like, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably do. I'm okay. I don't know this for sure, but what I am preparing myself for is that we're going to be seeing something similar to 2.5, because they really want to nip this thing in the bud before it starts. They've told people don't travel. They're like, we really don't want cases to go up. So I feel like they're going to do somewhere, if not 2.5, they're going to do somewhere in between 2 and 2.5 to try and discourage people to go out and to be in small spaces with large amounts of people. So it's a good time to do all of those marathons.
I think it would be similar to how Chuseok and Seoul used to be. Remember, back in the day, everything was closed during those days.
Exactly. Yeah. You couldn't go anywhere. Like, I remember I had to like plan. I had to go and buy all of my groceries in the days before, because if you didn't get groceries during Chuseok, you didn't have food.
Yeah.
I mean, you were stuck eating convenience store food for however many long days, because everything was shut. The grocery stores were shut down. The restaurants were shut down.
I remember that.
The department stores were shut down. The only things open were bars and convenience stores and karaoke, I think.
My phone just went nuts. What are you doing, phone? Stop it.
Funny, yeah. As soon as you said, I was like, wait, where's my phone? Forgetting that I'm
So it's like we got
a
a soundtrack all of a sudden.
But yeah, so this Chuseok, maybe it might be kind of nice to go back to the old days. Though even in the old days, I would still go out and get insanely drunk every night because I was young and the bars were open.
You had a liver back then.
I had a liver back then. I say as I drink my red wine.
There's a yellowtail.
Maybe.
Splurging. I heard Bob Woodward's come out with a book.
He did. Bob Woodward is kind of my hero.
Yes, he is. He is. I love his books. I still can't believe they let him have this much access in the White House.
I mean, I can believe Trump not realizing things, because we know by now he's not the brightest crown.
Oh yeah, you're right. He hasn't read a Woodward book.
Yeah. But what surprises me is that his people would be like, okay, yeah, sure, you could totally talk to Bob Woodward for 16 hours long interviews.
Lots of stuff has come out from this.
I'm just kind of like surprised that it happened, to be honest. But then I've also been reading articles about that, and they were like, well, because he wrote the first book about Trump, and Trump didn't contribute anything. And apparently Trump was like, oh, well, if there's going to be a second book, then I want to say something. And so that's kind of how
that turned out. Okay. Yeah. We're bringing this up because there's a lot that's been revealed about Korea in that book.
Yeah.
Before we do that, what are your favorite?
Going ape shit over it.
What are your favorite Woodward books?
Well, I mean, honestly, for me, it's got to be the first All the President's Men.
Ah.
I mean,
I got into him in the 90s. So I mostly remember I read a lot of the Clinton era books. And
I have read those.
The one that really got me the most was the 96 election. And what got me was how cordial and personable Bill Clinton and Bob Dole were. Even though they were such bitter political rivals, they still like asked, Clinton was he was asking Dole about it. I think his mother had just died, and Clinton was really concerned, and they had a good like heart to heart talk, not a fake.
Not like a fake.
Not a fake.
Like,
my condolences, and it wasn't that. Clinton had big respect for Bob Dole, and I found that very interesting. And Dole ended up not respect. Now I wouldn't say I have big respect for Clinton, but he was not as cold to him. I mean, it wasn't a pariah. It's kind of like the Clintons.
They had like it's
like the Clintons and George W. Bush right now. It's like that.
Yeah, there was like a mutual sort of respect going on there.
Yeah, or actually, Obama and George W. Bush now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would never ever imagine Trump going up to Biden and being like, "I'm so sorry about your son." No. Never.
But he will write love letters to Kim Jong Un.
It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to imagine Trump being nice or genuine.
Unless you're a dictator.
Ooh, yeah. Oh my God. This is why I want to get this book, because I have to read about these letters.
It's on Audible. It's on Audible now. I saw it last night. I was going to
no, but I have to wait until payday when I can send money to my American account so that I can buy stuff because everything's through my American account. So I have to wait until the 21st.
I have an Audible subscription. I get 2 credits every month.
Damn it. Okay. Well, noted. Now I know. But no. It's just like, oh, Trump saying, I loved that Kim Jong Un called me your excellency.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, what I got from this, and this is an article in the Korea, it was the Korea Herald? Yeah, it was the Korea Herald. Bunch of articles about the Woodward book, about different aspects. And this is one about his relationship with Kim Jong Un and their love letters. They're basically
the love. Yeah. So many. And not even just like Korean media, but also like some foreign media as well. All media, really. Not all, but a lot. I've seen the term love letters used.
Yeah. I look at it because I think I've lived in Korea long enough. I just see a lot of normal, typical Korean correspondence with the foreign entity. I've seen this type of writing before.
It's very flowery and, oh, you're so wonderful. You're so great. Well, not like that, but that sort of kind of.
Talking about your heart and I hope our hearts will join as one. And
you know how many times
really
I have to
syrupy, sentimental stuff.
Hands from articles.
Yeah.
So this group and this group joined hands. And I'm just like, no, just say that they're working together.
This earnestness. Yeah.
Earnestness in everything. I'm just, so I feel like, I imagine that's what a lot of Kim Jong Un's letters were like.
Yeah. It's 13-year-old poetry.
Yeah, pretty much. And then like to an extra degree because this is North Korea. Which they're even more so. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, there are sometimes when I read like English language stuff that comes from North Korea, and I'm like, I feel like they've got like a 1950s comic book writer, just like they stole him away from the States, and he's just been there since like the 1950s or 60s, and they force him to write all
the earnestness and just the no irony in anything.
The way that they phrase things. Yeah.
Yeah. And Trump's responses seemed like the way a lot of clueless Westerners respond to stuff like this. You know what? There's a documentary. Actually, the Obama Foundation funded this documentary. What was the one? It's the one about the Chinese corporation coming to Ohio, I think it was, and saving a plant in this town. Don't worry about the name. It's on Netflix.
I was actually just be like, Netflix.
My observations about this was when they brought the American team, the executives over to China, and their reactions to that, it felt a little naive the way they were acting. A lot of stuff that all of us jaded people who've been here a long time know this is the usual foggy bullshit they do. People do to, and the Americans were taking it
that they really care about whatever.
They're taking it at face value what they were saying. Like,
oh my God, they love me so much.
You're not reading between the lines on what's going on here.
Yeah. You need someone to explain.
Yeah, that's why you need someone who's been here a while.
Yeah, so that's why I found like a lot of those articles, and why I really kind of want to read that section of the book, just because I'm very interested, living here as long as I have, knowing kind of like the way that it goes, how people speak to you, and then also reading the articles and seeing how Trump has reacted, the excerpts on how he's reacted to it. I just feel like I don't know. I'm just interested. I want to see. If anything, it'll be a good laugh.
It's funny how America and other Western countries bring in such green people over here as representatives, ambassadors, and such. The people that really don't know much about the country and how to react. I mean, we've had a few good ambassadors, and one was Korean American that have been here, and then Mark Lippert.
He wasn't. It wasn't that long ago for him.
No.
Yeah, but Lippert.
Lippert was the most popular one because the guy just dove right into Korean culture, gave his child a Korean name. That guy was just so enthusiastic about Korean culture.
Huge baseball fan. Like you could find him at the baseball stadium eating chicken and drinking beer.
He loved Korean culture. I'd see him walking down the street going to have beers at the British Embassy.
I was actually sad to see him go.
I was really sad. I was really, really, really sad.
I wanted him to stay forever.
Yeah, but politics.
He left when Trump got voted in. Obama's people's had to go out.
They immediately fired everyone, but they had no replacement for him for a year and a half.
Yeah, I was about to say that spot was empty, and now we have Harry Harris. Who I can't say
he seems like a nice, genuine guy, but
he does seem. My laughter is nothing about him.
He's fine.
He seems fine. I have no complaints. I can't. I mean, after we finish filming, I'll probably think of something that he's done. I'm like, oh wait, why did I say that? But at the moment, like, I can't think of anything that he's done
perfectly
that's been
fine. I just think
particularly bad.
They put him in the wrong role in this one.
Yeah,
it feels like he's a placeholder.
Yeah, and who names their child Harry Harris? I'm sorry. His name alone has me.
Parents of superheroes do.
Oh, yeah, but he hasn't lived up to that, has he?
That mustache is powerful.
True. Yeah. So powerful that they did not go in and delete it out.
He pissed off the Korea Times, man. Pissed off fools die at the Korea Times.
Well, if you pissed off
powerful.
The Korea Times, that's powerful.
The most nationalistic guy in the English language news.
Yeah.
In Korea.
I just want Lippert back. I'm like, can't we just bring him? Where did they send him? Can't we bring him back? Is he in the States?
He's doing stuff. He's doing stuff. I think he's in the States now. He's doing stuff. I think I'm still Facebook friends with him. That was the other cool thing too. He was Facebook friending everyone, man. And it wasn't
I should have been in there.
It wasn't some aid, like the old Obama campaign was. If you followed Obama on Twitter, he'd follow you back automatically. No, he was generally just following people on Facebook, and he would participate in people's. He would like your stuff and comment. And
dude, I wish I had known about that. I would have been like, Lippert, let's be Facebook friends.
He's great. He was great.
He was cool. No, I remember I was working at I was working at Yonah during his time, and I was good friends with our sports writer who wrote about baseball a lot, Yu Ji Ho, and we still keep in touch. But no, I just remember he would talk about Lippert. He would go to cover games and run into Lippert. Lippert's just game. And he would sit and chat. So he was I don't know if they were friends, but they were familiar just because he was constantly covering baseball games. And anytime he would cover one in Seoul, he would just run into Lippert. Well, not every game.
Is fun. That is fun. I have been to some Korean sports ball, and it's done a different way, and I like it.
It's baseball.
I like it that you can get a chair with a table where you can go buy a pizza downstairs, from E-Mart, and bring it up and eat a pizza at your table watching soccer. And get yourself pitchers of beer.
I have not been to soccer games. I've only really done baseball games. And I have been gradually, I was working my way up to the nice seats with the tables. And those are 50,000 won.
Yeah.
They're not even that expensive. They just sell out fast. So I was working my way up there.
Yeah, they're good ones.
All of this.
I have not done baseball yet. I've not done baseball yet. I've done soccer, and I did a lot of hockey because I lived right next to the hockey stadium.
Oh, no, for me it was always
just 5,000 won for a ticket back then. It was great.
Well, for a long time, I was living in Kunde. So sports complex was not that far from me. It was like maybe 6 subway stops. So I was just always going to Doosan games.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. If I had
Even
baseball
after I
convenient
moved
to me, I'd go see
I
it.
was still going to Doosan games.
I got no convenient sports near me. You got soccer's the closest to me, and that's at World Cup Stadium. And I did. The only reason I went to a soccer game was I had a client, tour client, wanted a private tour, and his thing is watching football games all over the world and wants to see how they are. And so I set this up, and I was really out of my element doing this. But he liked having me along, and we had a great time, and I just learned so much. And he said himself, he's like, his impressions was how well behaved Korean soccer fans were, and how family friendly it was compared to games over in the UK and in Europe.
Yeah. No, I have a friend. He was actually, when I first moved here and I was teaching at an adult hagwon, he was one of the people who was teaching me how to teach. Scottish guy.
I'm sorry, when you say adult hagwon, I have the different type of adult in mind when you do that.
Yeah, no, not that.
It's the triple X hagwon.
Oh. Anyway, no, but we still keep in touch. He still works for the same company. He's now like a manager or whatever. No, but his side thing is that because he's Scottish, so he and his friend started this podcast, like K-League Kilt whatever. I don't know if they still do the podcast, but they would still go to games regularly, and he tweets about it all the time. Just goes to all these football games like around Seoul area and is like really into the K-League. And
I hope he's still doing that. That sounds interesting.
Well, I mean, obviously right now because nobody's allowed to go to games.
But I hope he's not giving up on it.
Yeah, he still posts about it. He still posts regularly about football. But the fun part of it is like because they would go to games and being Scottish, you'd just like drink.
Well, man, it was fun. It was so much fun.
No, I remember a few years ago because we had lost touch for like 7 years. And then we randomly ran into each other again at a Groove magazine thing because he was one of their sports writers and I was just coming on to become a music writer. And he was like, oh, yeah. And back then they had the podcast. He's like, you know what? You should join us on the podcast. I'm like, I don't know anything about soccer or football. Man,
you were joining all these podcasts, Emma.
I was like, no.
I hope you're practicing safe podcasting.
I am. No, well, I never actually joined this one, but they were like, no, it would just be really fun because like all we do is just like we just drink and watch football, and yeah, we talk about football and stuff. It's like it would be really fun if we just had like you there adding random comments and be like, yeah my comments would be like, oh, number 15's hot, and they're like, even that would be entertaining.
That would be entertaining. It's like having the non-nerd girl in a Star Wars discussion or watching Star Trek or Star Wars and seeing their comments.
And then after like a few podcasts, I would actually start picking stuff up and it'd be like, wait, but wasn't that offsides?
I wouldn't know. I didn't know.
I've had offsides explained to me like 5 times and I still don't understand it.
I loved it was so I was going back in like around 2005. Wow, that long ago. Going to the Hala games, Anyang Hala. And back then they were not that good, but they lost violently. It was not an Anyang Hala game until the referee was chipping blood off the ice. It was great, especially if they were playing a Japanese team. It was. I
have not actually. I mean, I think the only hockey games I've been to were the ones that I went to during the Olympics. I haven't been to any like
no. You got to do K-League. Yeah, Asian League hockey's fun, and I'm not. I mean, I like hockey a bit. I mean, I'm from the South, but I did watch the UAH, University of Alabama Huntsville has a hockey team.
Apparently a hockey team.
Yeah, it's a hockey team because it's North Alabama. And but anyway, what was funny about it was the foreigners. We'd have what we called the foreigner section, which is behind the home goalie, the home goal, And it's supposed to be all Canadians. They got all their beers and snacks from the convenience store. And they spend the whole time heckling the Canadian goalie.
Oh, God.
And they almost get into fights, but it's like the Canadian goalie misses a shot, and the Canadian English teachers go, "Why don't you go back to Canada and get a real job?" And the goalie turns around and goes, "Why don't you?"
That sounds entertaining. I interviewed some of the Canadian players.
Yeah,
not in person. It was through email and other stuff. But no, because right before the Olympics, we did a cover issue on all the foreign players who got Korean citizenship so that they could play in Pyeongchang for South Korea.
mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, a lot amount of Canadian hockey players
are now Korean citizens, and they still
are now Korean citizens because so they could play in the Olympics for South Korea.
Yeah,
I wonder how they feel about that now. There was also an American.
I think they feel great. I think it'd be great to be a Korean citizen right now.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, sorry, forget that. That's actually true. They're probably like, thank God I fucking did that.
Yeah, you supposedly get advantages from that.
Dodge that bullet. Dodge that COVID-19 bullet.
Trouble is, the K-League, they did not pay well because I think my wife back then, she was teaching at a school, and once a week they would have one of the Canadian hockey players come in and teach English because he was trying to make up the income.
They're all
moonlighting.
They don't pay so well. Yeah, because especially for hockey, they convinced a lot of players to get South Korean citizenship to play for them on both the men and the women's team. And then at the last second, they combined North and South Korea for the women's team.
Yeah, so they don't get to play.
So much drama there.
Yeah, there was politics, but the whole Olympics was about international politics anyway.
Yeah. True, but I mean, I felt bad for them because these women had been training and practicing together for 3 years.
Yeah, and even moved to Korea because they couldn't make the Canadian team.
Some of them American. But moved to Korea to, have this chance. And you got to feel for that. They finally are getting their chance.
Of course I feel for that.
They had
to
go through the process of becoming a South Korean citizen, which most of them are Korean American or Korean Canadian. So it was a lot easier for them anyway. Than the guys. The guys
I've worked really hard for things just to have the rug pulled out for me at the last minute. No one cared about how I felt. So yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
This is true.
Yeah,
but
they're not crying. They're not crying for me.
I'm just saying I understand why they were upset, but they were all.
Yeah, I get it. But I'm not.
It wasn't like they drew it out and it became like a whatever. They still did okay.
I have a slight sympathy, but I'm not like, oh my God, your dreams were ruined. And I'm like,
well, no, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm just saying that.
I'm just saying it would really suck if you went through all of this and then suddenly you're like, well, damn.
Have you seen that meme, nihilistic security questions?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's like the security questions when you forgot your password. And so, things like, what was the year when you gave up on your dreams?
Oh, God. Yeah, that's...
things like that. You actually thinking that. It's like, okay. When did your first dog die?
When I was 6 years old.
Yeah. But those are your security questions.
Her name was Taffy. It was a Lhasa Apso. I lived in Rogers, Arkansas.
Oh, lovely. What else did Bob Woodward say? Well, he was saying something about there was a plan to nuke North Korea in 2017.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. There has been about that. It's literally one sentence in the book.
And you know what? I think it is blown out of proportion. I'm kind of say that.
And like the way that Woodward wrote it is, it's a little vague, but the way that a lot of media, not even just like South Korea media, took it was like, it was a plan that the U.S. military came up with on the chance that North Korea attacked and how they would retaliate and deal with it.
It's just things thrown up on the brainstorm whiteboard.
Yeah, that potentially involved nuclear weapons.
Yeah, it's like I see that all these guys they're sitting around discussing all these other options, and the guy in the back goes, we can nuke them.
Nuclear weapons.
And then we're just writing down, oh my God, they're really thinking about nuking North Korea. No, it's just some guy in the back going, nuclear weapons. We got nuclear.
No, and actually, like the way that he wrote it, it was literally one sentence mentioning, and they were seriously reviewing. They were. So back in 2017, when North Korea was like doing their the thing that they do.
Yeah, that was the highest our attention.
It was Mattis was like losing his shit. And
about that.
Was
the Rocket Man.
Yeah. So Mattis was he was, I guess losing his shit, and they were reviewing this plan that they had come up with on the chance, if North Korea should attack or try to invade South Korea, because they got to have like a contingency plan for that.
What if North Korea nukes South Korea, and we got to have a plan for that. They had this,
and this was the plan. And so during 2017, when all this stuff was going on, they brought it out. We're like, let's brush some dust off of it and see if we need to update it.
Yeah,
maybe. I'm pretty sure that's what
previous two administrations before, in the Bush administration, they were talking about tactical nukes in the Middle East.
Literally all Woodward. Yeah, and literally all Woodward said in that sentence was like they were reviewing Op Plan 5027, which is, hold on, because apparently, as I have learned, because working in the media and how the presidential office has reacted to all of this, it's very important that we have to say exactly what Woodward said.
So you're telling me Trump has not enacted Order 66 yet?
No. There's been so much grief over this one flipping sentence. And like we had like even like I was having discussions about this yesterday, and it was long discussions that didn't need to be long, but we all were on the same page. We're like, okay, yeah, it's vague, but we interpreted it this way. And it seems like it's obviously supposed to be interpreted this way, but the presidential office in South Korea is interpreting it that way. And we're just like, where is this coming from?
I think everyone's trying to spin it to make themselves look better politically.
I don't know. It's just, hold on. I mean, for me, when I read it, I felt like it was quite obvious whose nukes they were talking about, and it wasn't North Korea. Okay, here we are. So here's the article. Oh, sorry. No, this is like the South Korea the presidential office's take on the one sentence is that the official said that Op Plan 5027 does not call for the use of U.S. nuclear weapons at such a scale, claiming the phrase in question refers to the size of the North Korean nuclear attack the plan is predicted on. But we all know that North Korea doesn't have 80 nuclear weapons.
No, but if you watch Fox News, they do.
I think at last count, and this was even a bit generous, it was about 65. Yeah. But I mean, the U.S. did actually launch a precision missile just right after their ICBM test.
Yeah, saying we can do Star Wars on your butt.
Yeah, that was this, and this was also in the Woodward book. So in 2017, they tested their first ICBM, and it flew 186 miles and then dropped into the EC.
Okay. Then, I see I see the article you're talking about. Yeah. All right, we got that.
And then the US was like, okay.
All right, done. Okay, what is this one? I'm looking at all the other ones. But the Korea Herald did like 5 articles about the Woodward book. Okay.
Dude, we had so many. Okay, so quoting Mattis, Woodward wrote that the U.S. Strategic Command in Omaha, Nebraska, quote, had carefully reviewed and studied Op Plan 5027 for regime change in North Korea. The U.S. response to an attack that could include the use of 80 nuclear weapons, end quote. And that's literally all he wrote on it, and everybody's flipping their shit.
Okay, so
that
all
articles, like, oh, they're talking about North Korean nuclear weapons. Everybody else is like, I'm pretty sure they're talking about American nuclear weapons, but...
I love this. Okay, every one of these articles in the Korea Herald are either about the nuclear thing or the love letters. I love this line. So I think Trump says, "Do you ever do anything other than send rockets up to the air?" And I think Trump is continuing saying, "Let's go to a movie together. Let's go play a round of golf." This is so romantic.
I know, like Trump is just not getting it. He's falling.
And after Woodward got the letters, you can't mock Kim. I don't want to get in an effing nuclear war because you mocked him. A nuclear war with what? I mean, it'd be what? Oh my God, these are hilarious. Okay, so I mean,
now you see why I want to read this. I need to get this book. I need to read this book.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things, and the Korea Herald. And I think they got some stuff from Yonhap too. A lot of the stuff is from Yonhap. It looks like
a lot of it's from Yonhap. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just trying to fill things. They're just having a heyday. They're having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I used to work there, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if it's the same writers that I used to work with, they're probably just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, come on. They got excerpts, and they're like, we are running with this.
Yeah, only 2 of the articles are written by Herald staff. Anyway, this is funny. I'm going to link to all those articles in the show notes. If you go check our website. And yeah,
maybe yeah. After we've both read the book, we can do like another one on just our take.
I might get the book. I just got the new Ken Follett book. I think I'll be going into that one.
I'm still trying. I finished? Oh, I finally finished From Here to Eternity. A Journey Around the World to Find the Good Death. So I finished that one, and now I'm thinking I should go back and finish the Carrie Fisher Princess Diarist.
Oh, Princess Diarist. Yeah, I've been wanting to get that one. Tell me how that is.
I have a physical copy of it, so when I'm finished with it, I can let you have it if you want.
I don't read books. I listen to them.
Oh, okay. Well, when I finish, I'll let you know. I've already
not
read
by
the
choice. It's just the way my lifestyle is. I wish I had time to sit down and read a book, but I'm always on the move. I'm driving, or I'm doing dishes, or I'm just trying to put myself to sleep. So it's always audiobooks for me, or I do Kindle whenever I can. I do Kindle when it's a very visual book.
Yeah, Cursed. That was the novel I just finished. I read Cursed.
Is that one of the? Is that the guy who does Wicked?
No, it's Thomas Weber, but it's illustrated by Frank Miller. And it's the book that the Netflix series Cursed. It's the book that's based off of.
Oh, okay.
So I watched the Netflix, and then I heard it was a book, and I'm like, oh, well, I got to read this book. And I think the book is better.
Okay. Well, of course it is. It's a different, always is. Yeah, I'm trying to think of ways. I've gotten
the Netflix series took a lot of took a lot of liberties there.
I'm sure it did. Been binge watching a lot. Last week I said I binge watched Cobra Kai. I'd gotten through Korra, which is much better than I remembered it being. I did not realize that Arrested Development had another season last year.
It's on Netflix?
Yeah, there's a season 5 that came out last year. I did not know that. So I'm going to have to check that. I'm going back through Arrested Development for a third time. And I tell you this, I've been gradually getting through all the Star Trek, and I rewatched one of the mid-late Next Generation episodes where Picard is being tortured. Is the famous one. There are 4 lights. That is a well done episode. It still holds up to this day. And you get naked Patrick Stewart in it.
Cheers to that. I was just like, wait, what have I? I'm like, what did I watch on Netflix?
You kind of see naked Patrick Stewart butt in that one.
Oh, yeah. No, I rewatched the series Dark Tourist.
Yeah, I've been told to watch that because that relates to our Dark Side tours.
It's fun. It was like the second time I watched it. I was like, this is still he's good. Like, it's a Kiwi journalist who does it, and he's actually really good with how he handles it. He's respectful when he needs to be, and credulous when he needs to be, asks the right questions, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Oh, and then
so we should contact
they
him.
had put up a behind the episode series for The Witcher, and I watched that. And I was like, I need to watch The Witcher again.
Yeah, should I get back into that? I watched 4 episodes and I kind of flaked out.
I went all the way through. I liked it.
Okay.
I mean, yes, I had to start and stop, and it took me a while, but I got
that. Okay, one I flaked out on, and then I went back into and just binged in 2 days is The Umbrella Academy.
That's one. I got into, I started the first series and I kind of fell out of it, but now I'm like, I need to get back into it.
I got back into it, and once it took me a little while to remember what was going on. Yeah, the second I flew through the second season in one day.
Maybe that's what I'll do during TikTok.
I think it spends the first 3 or 4 episodes establishing everything, and it's the world building, and it's really it's confusing, but then things start. Everything starts moving, and you get an idea of, this is what it's about. Okay, I thought it was about something different, and I was like, but no, it's about time travel. And
okay, so should we end the podcast with 2 suggestions for what people should watch on Netflix during Chuseok?
Okay,
even though we're 2 weeks away from Chuseok, but still.
No, it's fine. Let's do it. What do you suggest?
Dark Tourist.
Dark Tourist. Okay.
If you're into creepy sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all the places, all the dark kind of sort of creepy places that you might read about and be like, oh, that might be cool, but I don't know if I could do it. This guy actually goes there and interviews people about it. So
okay.
I live vicariously through him.
Okay.
He goes on a tour of Escobar's old prison house with Escobar's old hitman, and that's the first episode. That's the first episode.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Check that out. I would suggest. Okay, I would say Umbrella Academy is too fast to go through. You will get through that. You will get through both seasons in one day.
Yeah, it's only 8 episodes, isn't it?
10 episodes per season.
Yeah.
And the episodes themselves are really long, but it's still very bingeable.
No, because Cursed was the same way. Cursed is 8 episodes, but they're 50-ish minutes long. Okay. Which I feel like I need to, now that I finished the book, I need to rewatch the TV series, and then I can recommend Curse.
Okay. So you can get through the Umbrella Academy really fast. I still recommend, if you haven't watched, I would say The Legend of Korra. If you have not watched Avatar The Last Airbender, watch Avatar The Last Airbender, and then watch The Legend of Korra. They're both very different tones in those shows because they had different audiences. Avatar The Last Airbender was for basically elementary school kids. And Korra is for preteens/teens, more mature. But I think the humor in Korra, a lot of people have looked over, and it's really well done. The humor.
I have heard nothing but good things about Korra.
I've heard mixed. A lot of people say it was boring. And when I first started watching Korra, when it was first running, I fell out of it because I couldn't see what direction it was going in.
Yeah.
But then I gave it another chance, and I'm glad I did. My daughter got into it, and the humor. There's some stuff in there that's it's some of the funniest stuff.
It's over kids' heads.
Yeah. There's a lot of kissing and sex, and there's a little bit of sex humor in it. A bit. There's actually a gory death in it. There's a gory death in it that's not for kids.
Oh. Well, no, but I've had a lot of friends who have watched Korra, and they've said good things about it.
Yeah. I mean,
there was another series that popped into my head, and then I literally just forgot what it was. Driving me crazy. I don't know why. Korra.
Save it for next week.
I'll save it for next week. Every week we'll end it with our Netflix choices.
Well, that's how we used to do the end of the Soul podcast. We had a section called Time Wasters of the Week.
Yeah, I'll be like, this is actually what I know. And I am like the world's most random Netflix watcher. So I'm just going to be like, this is what I'm watching right now. I don't know if I recommend it, but I'm watching it right now and I can't stop.
Yeah, I have some loaded up. I did watch a good bit of the first episode of Jane the Virgin. The premise is pretty funny. I liked it.
But actually, yeah. It is a good premise.
I liked it. There's I want to get into Hannibal and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I hear that's a really good one.
That one is really good. I watched that. Hannibal, I really do like that one as well.
Yeah, I want to get into that.
And when it comes to Netflix, I go back and forth between like actual shows and movies, but then I watch a lot of docu-series on it.
Okay, I just got to watch stuff that I can watch with a 9-year-old in the same room with me.
Yeah, I don't have a 9-year-old, so I watch Tiger King.
That you know of.
Okay, so what? I have like a 9-year-old ghost sitting in my sink or something? Okay, sure. Well,
how old is your dog?
That 9-year-old ghost is just like probably thinking, oh my God. Tiger King was, oh my God. I was sitting there the entire time thinking, this town is like an hour and a half drive from the town where I grew up in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
How did I not know that this was going on?
You didn't know
and then I'm like, yeah, no, but then a lot of it takes place after like 2006.
So you weren't.
And
you
I
weren't
moved
there.
to Korea. I was in Korea. Yeah, I moved to Korea in 2007.
Yeah.
And my family moved out of Oklahoma. My immediate family, they moved to Florida in 2005. So I'm just like, oh.
Well, there you go, Florida.
Yeah.
That's the other part.
I was like, yeah, we were dealing with Florida man. And we had no time for Tiger King.
Yeah.
But that was a ride. That was fun.
Yeah, he was arrested in Pensacola, which is right next to my family. Anyway, thank you for listening. If you really like the show, again, please like and subscribe. We also have a Patreon, which helps support the show. If we get more patrons, we're able to do more content. We're able to pay for Emma's Yellowtail. But you do get more content if you go for the. It's just $5 a month. You can get all of our back episodes going all the way back to 2008.
Mm-hmm.
If you're that
before Emma
masochist, go for it. But also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/SeoulPodcast, on Twitter at King Sejong. You can follow Emma. Where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Emma Kalka.
Emma Kalka.
That easy. So
Emma
simple.
Kalka. I also want to plug our other podcast, the Dark Side of Soul podcast at darksideofsoul.com. I think that's all I have. That's all I'm plugging. But please write to us, leave comments.
Let us know what you think.
Questions.
We like questions. No one gives us questions.
Yeah, we might. I think we're going to get us some more guests in the future. I think next week,
we're working on
hopefully, you'll have a better mic in a week from now. Yay!
You can actually hear me better. This beautiful voice of mine.
Yeah, beautiful voice. Beautiful voice. All right, everyone, please stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
The Soul Podcast is produced by Joe McPherson and is copyrighted 2020 by Zen Kimchi International under the Creative Commons license. Parts of this podcast may be used for non-commercial purposes if you remember to give us credit. You can contact us at sejong@soulpodcast.com. That's SEJONG@soulpodcast.com. For a transcript of this episode, listen to it again and write down what you hear. Please support us at patreon.com/soulpodcast.